Welcome back, folks. Me, Phil Turrell. You're watching part 9 of the Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play, and Squall just got isekai'd into Laguna in the past. Maybe that's the whole point of this game, but I digress. So in this part, this is actually the start of what would be Disc 2, and Laguna has made a new life for himself here in this town called Winhill, and he's living in a house that's seen better days, and he's even taken a little girl named Ellie under his wing, and she affectionately calls Laguna Uncle Laguna. And before you go out, examine the little bookshelf or dresser right here, whatever you want to call it, for some Kiragas. And that'll be awesome because Kiraga is a good spell to have. And make sure you talk to Ellie down here at the very bottom, because once upon a time ago I never saw where Ellie was, and I got stumped on where she was. So Ellie's parents are no longer of this world, apparently, from what Laguna said, and Laguna is going to escort all the way, Ellie or Eleanor, all the way to her home next door. And she's actually under the care of one Rain, and Rain and Laguna are going to be quite the interesting characters, and Rain is actually a very important character in the background of Final Fantasy VIII. And the visitor that Ellie was talking about is about to show himself, an old friend of Laguna, rocking some new clothing. So it's Kiros, and Kiros is, well, he got out of the army, and now he wants to meet up with his old homie / maybe commanding officer Laguna. So we're going to talk to Kiros, and we're going to learn quite a bit of stuff that happened after their grand adventure when they almost died. But where's Ward? Where's our homeboy Ward at? Anyways, so Kiros said that happened about a year ago, and Laguna says he's been bedridden for over 6 months, and Rain was the one who took care of him. And Kiros thanks her for that. And Kiros says, well, you were able to do it in 6 months. I was able to do it for a month, and ever since I've been searching for you. And Kiros says, well, after leaving the army, he was just bored. Laguna was the life of their group, and, they're bros. Now all we need is Ward, and the trio, the band, will be all back together. And Ward also quit the army, and a very good, important plot point is about to be made here. He's a janitor at the D District Prison. That'll come into play later, here in about 20 minutes or so. But he's a janitor, he's mopping floors, and he never got his voice back, so that's rather unfortunate. And we're also going to learn how Julia is doing. And it's here that we learn that Julia is now a singer, and that she also had to move on because Laguna never returned back home, and she just assumed that, he kicked the bucket, unfortunately. And her famous song is Eyes on Me. And here Kiros says, oh yeah, she got married. And then Rain says to some army general named General Caraway. And in a magazine, her true love never came back from war, and General Caraway was there to comfort her when she was feeling down. And that soldier, of course, is Laguna. And here we now can find out that Julia is Renoa's mother. And that's quite the interesting plot point. And it's kind of interesting, the other plot point that'll be made around disc 3, about Laguna and Julia's relationship coming kind of full circle in a way. So, you can go ahead and entertain the where am I, and Laguna's thinking that fairies are here with him. So those voices that he hears that are obviously Squall and his party, he thinks they're fairies. So we're gonna go ahead and go to work, and by work, we're gonna go monster hunting, because Laguna is the one true monster hunter of Winhill. And Winhill, I don't know if I said what Winhill is, but Winhill is the village that we're in right now. And Winhill is a bit sparse in population. Not only is it a village, but most, if not all, the men of fighting age have been, conscripted, all that fun stuff that happens that come with war. And yeah, you'll see that some Gabaldian soldiers stationed here, I imagine for defense, because this wonderful village has been attacked before by Estar. That country where those soldiers wearing the weird armor hail from, and they invaded here, and that's not good. And it was under the orders of their sorceress that rules their country, which we don't actually find out her name at the moment, but I'll save that for later, assuming I haven't like already ruined that surprise. But if you talk to some of the villagers here, or if you even talk to the soldiers here, you'll get a little bit of backstory here, where this one talks about how 2 years ago Estar invaded this wonderful village, like I said, under the orders of their sorceress. And Kiros is going to wonder what they're doing. And Laguna decides to say what I basically said here, that only people that are left are old people, children, chocobos, and dogs, cats, and all that. And since the people here treat him so wonderfully, he wants to repay that kindness because that's just the type of person Laguna is. And so he patrols the cities and he helps anybody along the way, and he just takes out any enemies, like right now. And the enemies that frequent Winhill are very simple enemies we already fought before. Bug bites and Kachichi pillars or caterpillars. And super not difficult enemies. You can go ahead and mug the caterpillars mug them for spider webs. You can mug the bite bugs for some magic stone pieces, whether they're the minis, the normal ones, or the wizard stones if you're that high of a level. But since I only have 2 party members and they're decently leveled up, eventually if I level up a couple more times, then their levels will start to average in the 20s, and then the enemies will start to be in their mid-tier levels, which means new spells, new attacks, all that. So everything here is just involving bug bites and caterpillars, so nothing again too crazy, but I'm just going to go ahead and show the fights anyways. But yeah, as you see there, Laguna has his new clothes, Kiros has new clothes as well, and I actually prefer these over their soldier outfits because their soldier outfits are pretty generic, right? But Laguna, really love his design here. Ward, I kind of like Ward's design too, but oh, we'll see Ward whenever he gets back. That fall from the cliff did not treat him very well. Anyways, so Laguna leveled up to level 20, and Kiros' linked partner, the one that he's sharing stats with, is Irving. So Kiros is going to have a pretty strong attack stat, assuming that you were getting Irving to gain some stat bonuses from Ifrit's abilities. And if you talk here to this old lady, she says the town must be quite dull for Laguna, and maybe he should go back to Dell and City. It's almost like she doesn't want Laguna here. You can go towards that draw point, and there's a little bit of a collapsed road with a reflect draw point, but nothing too crazy there. So you don't have to go that way. I'm not going to go that way. I should have actually gone the way to show it, but just did. But we're going to go ahead and get into another fight here with a caterpillar. But as you notice, the more people you talk to, which is not very many, but you'll notice that some of them kind of have a negative thought towards outsiders like Laguna. And you're also going to find out how sparsely populated this village is if you go visit some of the buildings in the next section. So if we go this way, we'll get to the entrance of the village, I believe. Yes. You can visit some of these buildings like the inn or a house, and you're going to find out that they're pretty empty. There's not anybody here except for the shopkeep. So this person's house is completely empty, probably because again the occupants were either conscripted into military or they did not survive the small invasion that Estar did to Winhill 2 years ago. This is the inn. You see there's nobody here, so pretty disappointing. And I don't think when you come and visit Winhill later with Squall, you don't have to It's completely optional, but I don't even think there's a copy of Timber Maniacs here. But once you get to here, you're done with your first patrol, and all you gotta do is report back to Rain. And he calls Rain the commander, and the assistant commander is Eleni, or Elenol. I don't know how to pronounce her name, so I'm just gonna call her Eleni. But Kiros is now his assistant, and you can go here to the shopkeep. And this is the shopkeep, as you can tell, does not like Laguna, because Laguna, for him to shop, he has to say Rain sent him. But all the guild that you have is Laguna. Unless you get a Guardian Force later, an optional Guardian Force down the road, which is kind of difficult to get in a way, Laguna will never have another way to spend his money. So go ahead and spend his money here. Really no point in him keeping his money. So I would just recommend get some tents, maybe some a tent, and then maybe some high potions, or remedy, whichever or. But nothing too exciting. This is mainly just a catch up, see how Laguna is doing kind of dream. Nothing too crazy. And you should end up racking quite a bit of spider webs and magic stones here. And spider webs, while they're not super important, they do refine into slow magic if you have, I believe it's Diablos who has status magic refine, I think. Could be wrong. Or is it Siren? But here, you're going to find out that Kiros is like, weren't you aiming to be a world traveling journalist? And Kiros has talked to a chief editor in the Timber Maniacs, and Laguna is like, yeah, that sounds great. We should go talk. But he's kind of brushing off the idea. As you can tell, he's kind of gotten attached to Winhill. And when you get to right here, Kiros kind of puts it together why he doesn't want to leave. After he says, you kind of want to write about this place first, right? And Laguna doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want tourists to come here. And Kiros nails it. He doesn't want Rain to get taken away by another person. Imagine after losing Julia and that being his first crush / love interest, and she got away. Laguna does not want Rain to be taken away either. So we go up to here and we get to see how Rain feels about Laguna. So Laguna is like, this is girl talk, hey, let's not talk. And Kiros is like, no, let's listen. Looks like he just slapped the mess out of Laguna right there. But Eleni wants Rain to marry Laguna, and Rain is going to kind of complain and take apart Laguna right here. And Eleni really likes him because he's really nice. And in her mind, she just wants to live with them together as one big happy family. And Rain is going to say that he probably doesn't want to stay here. He doesn't have it in him. He wants to travel the world. He's already told her about wanting to be a journalist, and it just makes her all sorts of mad. And Eleni decides to confront her, saying, you don't like him? And Rain says that she feels the same as her. And Laguna, of course, hears that. And all you have to do is just let the dialogue go. This is a very, very simple, straightforward dream sequence. So talk to Rain. So you can go down down around, squeeze around the furniture, and talk to Rain. And Laguna will talk about how many enemies we've slain, and the grand total was 11 this time. And so Rain will say, that's good work, go rest in your bedroom and we'll get lunch ready. So that's what we're going to do, and that's actually going to be the end of this dream sequence. So pretty awesome, peaceful dream. As you can tell from the music, it's a peaceful dream. But Laguna is going to have one fear that he's going to tell Kiros when we go to the bedroom and try to go to sleep. So let's go ahead and save and let's see what Laguna has to say. So Kiros knows that something's wrong with Laguna, and Laguna confides and says he gets scared. He's scared of waking up somewhere, scared of not seeing Eleni. And Kiros nails it. He's scared of him not being able to see Rain. And Laguna doesn't know what happened to him, and he feels so much different about stuff now. And Kiros says, you've changed, man. And we're going to find out that everyone survived, except for maybe Squall. Squall's not here. So, Zell wakes up from the dream, and Zell was actually linked to Ward in that dream. Of course, Ward was not in Laguna's party, because Ward was cleaning up floors in the D District prison, aka a 5-star resort for political prisoners against President Delling. And so Zell here kind of just lets the whole party know that after their little adventure in the Centra continent, Ward went to the D District prison, Laguna and Kiros, and Ward got separated. So Quistis says, "What is this that we're experiencing?" Zell, of course, doesn't know. Actually, no one really knows. We won't know until Disc 3. So you need to talk to everyone here. And I'll level with you right now. We are in the D District prison. Zell's going to mention it when Renoa says, "Hey, does this actually look familiar to you?" And Zell's going to notice and say, "Yeah, this place kind of looks familiar." And it actually is the D District prison. And everyone's wondering where Squall is, and he's really nowhere to be seen. So did Edea take him out? But here Renoa says, "Hey, does this room look familiar?" And Zell's like, "Of all the stupid questions," and it actually does look familiar to him. Because this is the D District prison, the same prison that Ward worked on as a janitor. And again, I'll level with you, this is one of my least favorite parts of the game. I do not like the D District prison, mainly because it's so repetitive if you want to get all the items, and then also if you want to grind for a very special item, which I'm not going to do, but I'm going to explain once we get to that point. But we're going to see where Squall is, and Squall is going to be in his own solitary confinement cell, alive, with no wound, with the toilet in the background. Where am I? So Squall, of course, is isolated because he is the ringleader of that operation, the leader of the two teams. And Squall is very PO that Cypher was looking down at him after everything was said and done. And this FMV is a little bit of a taste of things to come as Squall's cell is pulled out from the bottom. And if you notice, as you go up, the Squall goes up, and you look at the different floors, they're exactly the same. And that's basically the D District prison in a nutshell. You're just going to be climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing, or descending, and it's really not a fun dungeon. And the guys that are walking in right now are also not very fun either. They're going to decide to pick on Zell, because everyone just wants to pick on Zell, and then they're also going to work on Zell's ribs here, so that's also not fun. So poor Zell, he gets the short end stick all the time, so they're just going to keep beating him while he's down, and just, yeah, not fun at all. Renoa's tells them to stop, and they stop, and the mean prison guard's going to ask if there is a Renoa with us, and Renoa, being the naive girl she is, says that she is Renoa, probably just to save Zell from getting his ribs worked even more by these guards. Queez is like, "Just stop it already! He's already down!" But yeah, so she says she'll be fine, and the others are, well, cautiously optimistic about that. We won't actually find out what happened to her, Renoa, in the sequence until Disc 3. So Cypher is going to show his ugly mug, and he's going to pick up Squall by his head and chunk him all 1 foot away and onto the bed like it's some awesome move. He's like, "Take him away." And we're going to be introduced to a new type of character here, Moombas. But we'll talk about Moombas later. But Cypher is going to do his best Revolver Onslaught impression here with electricity. And yeah, he's going to be You must press square to regain your strength, Squall. There are no continues, my friend. Oh, that sounds horrible. I don't really want to listen to that on the playback. But Cypher wants to know what the secret of Seed is, because Adea thinks that there's some kind of secret that they were given. And Squall kind of shoots back by saying, well, you lived in Balamgard, you should know what Seed is, but Cypher is not a Seed, and really we weren't given any kind of secret message from Sid or anything like that. And Cypher is going to kind of gloat, saying that he's achieved his lifelong dream, and the others wouldn't last 3 seconds because they're here. And Squall, I kind of got this a little ahead of the game, but Squall's a little relieved that they're all here. And since Squall is liked by Cypher, Cypher decided that Squall should go first, and he achieved his childhood dream. But in his moment of glory, he forgot that we two-shotted him in that battle. So I don't know what Cypher is gloating about. Just 2 shots. So he says that he's the Sorcerer's Knight, and they are the evil, murdering evil people in Cypher's tale. So yeah. So we're back to Zell, Queesus, and Selphie. And Zell's a little bit tripping right there. He's like, oh! And Moomba is going to come in, and he's going to try to give us some food, and he's going to trip because my visual mods are going to cause him to glitch out. Yeah, not what I expected in this mod, but you know, it makes for some pretty good humorous parts. Except for this dude. This dude needs to like get wrecked. Do not pick on my Moomba, dude. So tell him to, you're going to stop him, and what this does, this will pay a little bit of a dividend later. When we get to the very top of D District Prison, so stop him, and then he will retreat. The Moomba will remember our kindness, and he will help us later. So Selphie's going to try to help the Moomba by using Cure Magic, but as Queesus had said earlier, there's an anti-magic field here that will stop us from using our magic, but that's just a story element. It won't impact the gameplay at all. So back to the Legion of Doom with Cypher and Squall. A warden is going to show up and let us all know that missiles have been aimed at Garden. They didn't say which Garden because there's 3 in the world. But Balam Garden is going to be destroyed because they were training seeds to destroy Idea. And, well, that's not good. That's our home, and can't let our home get destroyed. I mean, you actually can in this game, but we're not going to do that. So Squall is going to be kind of stuck to the wall, and Cypher is going to continue to gloat and just act very pompous. Now the warden that's right here, later on you're going to get a choice of 2 answers. Pick the top one. It seems like that's a stupid thing to do, but it's also going to help us down the road with the Moombas. The Moombas are going to help us if you pick that top choice. And you don't want to pick the bottom one because we won't get the help. So just give up and pick the first choice. And Squall will tell the warden that his breath stinks, and this will royally piss off the warden, and he's going to just choose to electrocute the mess out of Squall. And Squall is just not going to be feeling it. So Squall's like, good night. So I guess that was just Squall's way of getting out of the situation. So the warden's going to leave us with Moombas, and the Moombas are actually going to help us. So, and we're going to be back with Zell, Selphie, and Queesus, and Moomba, and everyone's going to mention how they need to get out here. Queesus in particular is going to say, we can't just sit here, we got to think of a way to escape. And Selphie's going to propose the plan of skinning the Moomba and wearing him as a disguise, and you know that's pretty disturbing. Selfie, don't do that to the Moomba. So we are pro Moomba here at Field 2 Reels channel, not anti Moomba. But Zell is going to make the realization that even though they don't have their weapons, Zell does have his, because his fists are the weapons. He is the weapon. And he also has knowledge of the place because he has lived in a dream where Ward worked here as a janitor, and Zell in his infinite wisdom is going to propose the plan of, hey, open up, the girls are unconscious, I think a snake bit them. And the prison guard is not very smart because he bit hook, line, and sinker, and Zell is going to work his ribs for a change. So with that said, we can go and get our weapons for Quisus and Selfie and Squall. So we need to go out there with Moomba, and Moomba is going to provide our backup. We need to go up, so follow the stairs up. And then we're going to be greeted with 2 Gabaldian soldiers who are going to be messing with our friends' weapons. So make sure that you unequipped all the Guardian Forces from everyone and equipped the Guardian Forces to Zell. Typically, I'll just equip all of them, but I don't need all of them for Zell. Carbuncle, Ifrit, and Diablos, I think I had Diablos on him, are sufficient enough. Actually, no, I don't think I had Diablos. I think I had Brothers, maybe. I don't know. But as long as you have Ifrit, you'll be good. You're going to equip Bio to Zell's Elemental Attack Junction if you want to do a little bit extra damage, because typically human enemies are weak against Poison Element. So you can do that. But if you have a good enough high attack strength, you'll be able to one-shot all these soldiers with Zell, so you don't have to worry about it. And these are actually a different variety of Gabaldian soldiers. I can't think of the name of them, but Future Field can add the name of these type of enemies. But these cast a little bit of a status element to them. But as you can see there, they go down relatively quickly. So, not too much to worry about. So with that, we defeat our captors, or I guess the captors of our weapons. Zell will collect our weapons, and the Moomba is going to have his moment to shine. He's going to beat the mess out of one of those soldiers on the ground. And then they're going to both gloat. They're like, ha 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 ha. So, we're going to go back to the cell and deliver the goods, but in the meantime, Squall is still alive, and he's being messed with in his sleep, and he keeps hearing the word Laguna. Laguna! Laguna. Laguna! And the Moombas are actually helping him out. So Team Moomba is going to be helping out Team Seed. And what's interesting is not once has Squall mentioned Laguna to anybody in this prison. So how do these Moombas know the name Laguna, and why do they want to help us? And every time they help us, they're like, Laguna! So pretty interesting plot point here. We'll be able to find that plot point out later in a side quest. So we're going to give the team their weapons back, and they're going to do their little Power Ranger poses and stuff like that. Action poses, whatever. So they're all going to be super threatening and everything with their little poses here, including the Moomba. And the Moomba is going to get its time to shine as well. So, oh, and speaking of time to shine, this will be Zell's time to shine, because he'll be the party leader for a bit of this, for the rest of this part anyways. So, equip Selfie and Quisus with Guardian Forces. We're about to have a pretty easy boss fight here, not super difficult. It's actually going to be a rematch against a couple of guys that we've had a boss fight with them before. So, make sure you have Mug. I highly recommend Mug. If you're going to go for Renault's ultimate weapon, this is the best time to get a region ring. So make sure that you get that region ring from one of the bosses. And the other boss has a item called Strength Love, which is a pretty good item to get to a Guardian Force if you're interested in bolstering your attack strength. So if you also want to have a little bit of fun with the boss, I would also recommend having the magic command equipped and having that character have Confuse spell on them, because if you do that, you can have a little bit of funny dialogue with the bosses if you confuse them and then hit each other. So I would most definitely do that if you want to have some fun, but I didn't do that. I forgot about it until I don't know, maybe I jump cutted in that boss fight and I noticed the character I had did not have any confusion, I think, so that's why I never did it. But I'm kind of stalling, but here we go. We're going to fight against Man A and Man B, and they're in the impression that we don't have our weapons. And it's Lieutenant Biggs and Private Wedge, and everyone's going to notice who everyone is, and they're going to be like, what the heck? Ah! So, with that, Biggs is going to harass us, and he's going to find out that we have our weapons, and he still wants to have a good old slugfest for what happened in Dalek, so we're going to oblige him. So, pretty easy fight. They're super simple. They might use some magic here or there, but they mainly will rely on their physical attacks. So, they're a little bit salty because they got demoted because of us, and Biggs wants his revenge, but Biggs will not have his revenge. We're just going to hit him and smack him around along with his... I feel like Wedge is really like just there just for moral support. He really doesn't want to be here. They do have some pretty good spells. Wedge has the reflect spell. If you want that, you can. I don't really rely on it very much. But Biggs has the haste spell and the regen spell. And haste is, I think it's really good. I think it's worth the time to, excuse me, to draw the spell. He also has slow. Slow's not so important because from the dream sequence with Laguna, with all the caterpillars, you probably stole quite a bit of spider webs. Quite a few of those will, you know, refine those into slows. And his last spell is regen. Regen is also a pretty good powerful spell as well if you want to stock from that. You don't have to, but you could. And Biggs has the regen ring, as you saw. I stole that earlier. So make sure you steal that if you want to have Renoa have her ultimate weapon. And then Wedge will have the Strength Love, which is an item for Guardian Forces to run the Strength plus 20%. So, if you want that, go ahead and get that, but I would highly recommend getting Biggs' item. If you don't get their items, the items that you will get for beating them will be a Elixir and a Remedy, I believe. So, if you want those, feel free to grab those. I'm most certainly going to grab that because I'm a big fan of having my main party members have their ultimate weapons. But I generally will just upgrade all of them. So we took out Wedge, and without Wedge, Biggs is really no big deal. So I'm going to spend a little bit of my time drawing haste and a little bit of regen. But the boss fight's not super difficult. Once I summon Shiva and Shiva blasts him with Diamond Dust, he should go down. And like I said, this boss fight is not very difficult. You don't really get any really big reward from beating them other than the chance to mug a Strength Love and a Regen. I believe we'll get 10 AP from them, so at least we get that. But with that, they're done. Biggs is the winner. What's below Lieutenant? No idea. Maybe if I had to guess, maybe Sergeant. I don't know. So, he'll be Sergeant Biggs. Anyways, so we'll go ahead and have Qualls Occult learn Alright, Elemental Attack Junction, or Magic plus 40. Magic plus 40 it is. So everyone's learning good abilities. So we get out, and Biggs, being Biggs, is going to have the last laugh. He's going to turn on the alarm system and release monsters into the prison, which that's kind of an interesting, you know. What kind of prison just unleashes monsters? But the Moombas from upstairs are going to tell the Moomba we were with the word Laguna, and they're all like, Laguna! Laguna! And Zell's like, I have a good feeling about this. Let's go follow those Moombas upstairs. They're yelling Laguna. And now the security system is going to release monsters, and the anti-magic field's been lifted, which anti-magic field's a bit of a story point. It's not a gameplay point. So there'll be monsters all along the prison, ranging from the Bluebird, Geezards, Wendigos. And there'll be some more guards, and by guards I mean the Gavaldian soldiers. And there'll be 2 new robot enemy types here, so having Thunder Magic equipped to Zell at this point would probably be the best bet if you can count those machine robots. So now we're expected to go up, but we're gonna go down. And honestly, if you really wanted to make this part super quick and as painless as possible, you could equip the encounter none from Diablos, or if you're playing the newer versions, you can turn off the encounter none feature that's on the remasters, because you're just basically going down and around every one of these places. And some floors have shortcuts, but in that barrier that's blocking the staircases from each other forces us to go all the way around. And those Moombas that we helped in Squall's, well, the Moomba we saved in Zell's case, and then selecting the choice to let Squall just give up and just get tortured, that also is going to help us remove some of these barriers. But there's going to be political prisoners, shall I say, and the district prison. They'll play cards with you for a price, and you'll be able to win some items from them. Some of them are super rare, some of them are not. The prisoner I talked to, the best item that you can get from them is a Phoenix Pinion, which I believe that is every 3 in 256 games, I believe. Double check my notes here. I want to say it's every 256 games. Yes, 3 in 256 games. The luck plus I got from him, he will only give that out once. And this is a new enemy right here, the purple robot. But this, you want to steal a missile from it, or he'll drop a missile. He'll also have haste, so if you want to draw haste, you can. But micro missile, it will half your HP. It's a gravity-based attack, so just be very careful. It cannot kill you. It can only reduce your HP by certain amounts. So you'll never die from micro missile. But you can teach Quistis micro missile with the missile item it drops. So make sure you at least steal one of them. It's one of the few items in the game that you cannot get from card modding. So make sure you steal it. They're not super difficult, but they are weak against lightning. So that's one of the 2 robot enemies we'll be facing. Oh, and then the Phoenix Pinion as well, that guy had that I was playing cards with. You can only get one of those as well. So that is not the one that a lot of people spend a lot of time on playing cards with. It's the one that we get to later. So, and some of these prison cells will open and have items in boxes, but the item we really want is on the bottom. And honestly, if you are going to use Zell and you're using Zell's limit break, the item probably isn't worth it if you're into just using the punch rush booyah combo. That's what I use for Zell anyways. Sometimes I'll dabble in his other limit breaks, but the item we're going to get the first floor teaches Zell the dolphin blow limit break, which is nice, but not super important. And this, let's say this house, that cell has the pet house, and the other cell I had earlier, probably floor right before this one, has the tent. But yeah, this is why I don't like the D district prison. You're literally going around in circles and going down and up. It's just a pain. And the enemy encounters don't really help, but having Diablos' encounter none really does make it more bearable. So this one, there's going to be a pet name tag. I believe that is to rename Angelo's name if you don't like the name Angelo, but it is what it is. So going this one, I believe this has a save point. It has another item. This one will have a strength up, and a strength up is nice because it will permanently increase the base strength of one of your characters. So really nice. Typically, I'll give it to Zell or Squall. More than likely, it'll probably be Zell. So go down, be on the first floor. We cannot go down any further. So go in this room. There'll be nothing there, but there's a save point here. So equip the move find on Quistis. So we'll equip move find. The save point will be there. I'm gonna go ahead and save and unequip move find. Back out. We're going to go to the other cell to the right. This will have a box, and this will have Combat King number 1. And Combat King number 1 will have the, it's not a box, but it's on the floor. So it's right there on the floor. So read it. And this will add the Dolphin Blow to Zell's limit break pool. And you see there, it even has a combination. and you always want to use it for a good cause, says the magazine. So now we're going to be in the process of going up. For the sake of making it very quick, when I go up, and I'm just going to skip the entire floor unless there's a fight or an important item that I get. So floor 3, I'm going to have a new fight, so I'm going to show that off. And this one is going to have the other machine encounter, the gold one. They have interesting names, but this one, I didn't write the name for the purple one earlier, but the gold one is GIM47N, and he's not too dangerous. He's just a much weaker version of the purple bot. He doesn't really have anything value. He does have steel orbs you can steal. Steel orbs do teach Demi, so Demi is a pretty decent mid-tier spell, as I've said before. So not very difficult. If you have Thunder Magic equipped to the elemental attack of Zell, well, you'll do even more damage. Here we can see that the guards, the Goboldian soldiers, have sleep magic, so they are a little bit harder. But also, I wanted to show off the brothers Guardian Force summon, which is probably low-key my favorite summon because it's kind of hilarious. So bear in mind, they're Earth Elemental, and it's kind of ironic that one of them, the young one, picks rock, and the bigger one, the older one, knows better. So he always picks paper, and he's going to launch his younger brother into the air and just break the block that he just launched, sending all the enemies tumbling all the way down. And I think it's pretty fun. I think that is probably low-key my favorite summon just because it's fun. It's a bit humorous. And the only other one that's as funny is the Tonberry summon. We will get that, don't worry. So we're going to go ahead and go back to floor 4. And basically nothing of note is going to happen until we get to floor 7 and floor 8. And I'm just going to show you where the shortcuts are. I probably already showed them, but I'll show them even more. So go all the way up to floor 7. Nothing important happened, but you can just cut right across and go up the stairs on floor 7 and 8. But floor 9 we're going to have to go around, so because these are new floors, I'm going to go and show them. I'm going to get into a couple of encounters here, but they're all encounters I already had. That's why we're seeing all these jump cuts. And floor 9 doesn't really have anything important, so we're going to go up to floor 10. Floor 10 will have a new person that we're going to play cards with. And also, one of those fights, also, Diablos had learned Hit Junction. So, if you notice that Diablos has learned a new ability, it's because he learned Hit Junction in those jump-cutted fights. Now, this guy will upgrade our battle meter if we beat him in a card game. He's not too difficult, and I'm even going to show the whole card game just to give myself a moment to talk. But this guy doesn't have any items, but he does upgrade the battle meter we got from Sid with the character. I'm trying to remember the character. Anyways, I don't remember what it is, but basically it'll show data on your characters, how many enemies they've taken out, how many times they got knocked out, and all that stuff. It's character report, that's what it is. So, just claim your victory, he'll upgrade the battle meter, and there's really no need to play against him after this. But I went ahead and did it anyways, just to see if he gives items, but he doesn't. And you can't get an upgrade to a battle meter if you don't have the battle meter. If you don't get the battle meter when Squall first becomes a seed, you've missed out. And this has a save point in it, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. And we're going to go up to floor 11. Floor 11 will have a card player that is pretty infamous, in my opinion, for having people spend hours and hours on end playing Triple Triad, because he has one of the rarest items in the entire game and one of the best items entire game that he will just give you it for free. He'll also have an HP up as well that he'll give out once. So go into this room right here, and he'll only charge you 200 gil a game. So make sure that you have some money. You don't really have to challenge him, but the rare item in the game that he has is a Rosetta Stone. It teaches a Guardian Force the passive ability of ability times 4. So you can equip 4 abilities on a Guardian Force instead of the basic 2, or 3 if you have a Guardian Force that has ability times 3. I don't bother to get it here. I tried for about, I guess, 30 minutes, but I don't get it because we're going to get Rosetta Stones. We're going to get 2 later on in the game towards the end, and we get a Guardian Force that already has a ×4 passively already on it. So I don't need 3 Rosetta Stones. I'll have all 3 of my characters have ability ×4 by the end of the game. There's nothing on floor 12, and we're already at the end of this part. So we'll have this congregation of Moombas. So I'll catch you on the next part, folks. We'll catch you with Squall later in. Bye.